Good morning, chickens. It is October 25th and it's kind of a sunny day. It's not as cold as it has been. We did get a little bit of rain in the last 2 days, which was much appreciated and long overdue. But at any rate, it is nearing the end of our stay here for 2022. And I have not done hardly any videos all summer. I did one funny one of the chickens, and I did a garlic one. I can link those down below and maybe put a card up above, but thought I would do a quick recap of how the summer's gone. So the first big one here is this structure, which is new. It is a bit of a shed for which we can contain some tools. We have accumulated between our own and Brent's parents and my parents, we've accumulated a lot of garden tools. And so this is just a little structure that he put up this year, nice and close to the garden, where we can keep all kinds of stuff. In addition to tools, we're keeping our straw and our hay in here. And then that bin over there is a bunch of the chicken stuff. Makes it nice and close and convenient, and it keeps it out of the rain. Anyway, that's new. Not much really has changed otherwise in the garden. It's just been a funny kind of year, and so there hasn't been much that I have filmed. At any rate, this is going to be rather boring perhaps, but for me, even just as a journal, it helps to remember what went on this year. So last year, this bed here and this one over here were the garlic beds. And when the garlic came out, they got kind of cleaned up. We probably should have put a cover crop on them right away, but we didn't. This bed in here had a bunch of cucumbers in it and a few greens from the winter, which kind of halfway through the summer they were about done. So I think somewhere around the end of August, Brent came down and planted just a whole assortment of different greens, and they've been doing really well, and we've been enjoying salads for the fall. There's beets, which we're just really using for the beet greens. There's radish, similarly using for the greens. Pak choy, arugula, a little bit of kale, probably a few other things, but anyway, that's the greens bed. And then just quickly down at the end, I was given 4 artichoke plants. 2 did nothing at all. 1 is grown, but this one actually put out artichokes, so obviously I've left it too late, but I think I'm going to mulch up the plant and just kind of see what an artichoke plant does. Anyway, beside it is some celery, and again, it's not a lot of celery, but I am going to cut it and take it and throw it in the freezer, and I'm going to use it next time I do broth. And these 2 beds had, this one up here had onions in it, this one here had potatoes in it, and so now they've got garlic. Kind of part of our rotational plan for the garden is that everything kind of moves 1 quadrant clockwise. This little bed down here had cucumbers. Cucumbers got sort of spread out all over the place this year, but at any rate, it has nothing in it right now except a cover crop on it. And I'm not really sure what it will be next year. The hops, I don't know if the sun is going to interfere, but usually by now the hops have gotten kind of weird and moldy, and we've harvested all of the actual hop flowers off that we want, and we would have torn it down, and we still do need to take it all down, but I've left it up because it's just been so pretty. Like the bright yellow and not moldy at all. So there you go. This bed here had strawberries in it, but we have added some more strawberries to that one over there. That's a bed we've never really ever planted in before, so it did not do very well this year. But sometimes you have to just start by putting something in and, you know, be willing to not have a good year with it, just to start getting the soil loosened up and then starting to know what, you know, what you need to amend it with. But this bed here had tomatoes. All the tomatoes that didn't fit in the hoop house got put into here, and then we set up this little miniature hoop house for them. They did not too bad, mostly beefsteaks, and they were, for some reason, really small. Tasty, but kind of was hoping for something much bigger. These two beds down here had our Three Sisters plantings in them. I have a video I'll link up above here as well that showed when I planted the corn and the squash and the beans, as well as the tomatoes. So you can have a look at that if you're interested. Anyway, again, these beds are now all just covered up with straw, and they've been seeded with a cover crop. That one right there, I think you can tell, the chickens got into and decided to uncover things. So gonna have to do a little bit of fixing with that one. And this was the big hoop house and had all of the tomato plants, the tomatillos, the peppers, and also some cucumbers, because like I said, cucumbers got put a little bit everywhere this year. Anyway, this did really well, and I think we ended up with 70 tomato plants in there. Probably didn't end up as much poundage wise as I would have liked, but we also put in an awful lot of little tiny cherry type tomatoes, and so I would say half of them just got eaten and didn't get weighed. And of course, the ones that did get weighed don't actually weigh very much. So anyway, the big issue with this bed this year has been those trees down there. In the kind of spring and height of summer, the sun sits really high and this bed gets lots of sun. But as the summer progresses and the sun lowers, this gets less and less. So next year, there's going to have to be some of those trees, I think, thinned out so that this bed, with whatever ends up going in here, will do a little bit better. The grapes down at the bottom here every year just do better and better, and every year we realize that we need to do better and better at pruning them. But we got a ton of grapes. Oh, there's still some grapes on there. Let's see if we can spot them. There's one. I think there's a red one down here somewhere too. Yeah. Anyway, ended up with a whole bunch of grapes. I'll try and remember how much and put a note on here, but I ended up making a bunch of green grape jelly and also some red grape jelly. And then, I don't know if this is going to be able to show up, but these are Jerusalem artichokes, or otherwise known as sunchokes. And this one right here in the center, we measured, is 14 feet tall. And look at the flower it's put out at the top. So cool. Jerusalem artichokes are apparently part of the sunflower family, so that's her version of a sunflower. I really want to cut them just to be able to see the flowers closer, but I'm also kind of just enjoying how magnificent she looks. Anyway, 2 of the stalks put out flowers, but that one in the center there, 14 feet tall. Craziness. The raspberries had another really good year this year. They're obviously done, and I should probably be doing a lot more cleaning up and pruning than I may actually end up doing, but I always prune them back again kind of early spring or late winter, so it's not terrible to leave some of this on for now. compost got sort of reconfigured a bit. And so it's not as deep as it used to be, but anyway, it's nice and full of stuff. So hopefully we'll be making some good soil in there. But there you have it. That's the garden. The 25th of October.